Well, good morning, TikTok. Happy Monday to you. Ed over here at FICM Repair. So as we've talked about, we spent a little bit of time surfing the interwebs and spend some time on the various chats and whatnot. And we got a Facebook group here that says, hey, this gentleman Miles writes, he says, I've got an '03 dually, I got no power, I got these codes, and what are the codes? The codes are contribution for cylinder 3 and cylinder 1. And you're like, okay, fine. He's like, well, so I popped an injector in cylinder number 1, and the presumption is I still have a code on cylinder 1. Well, presumption from the question, all right, could it be the FICM? Because he's still searching. The answer is probably not. Contribution codes are very infrequent. It can happen, but it's really remote. That the problem is the fuel injection control module. Now, there's no conversation here, so we just don't know about whose injector it is, and and all this kind of stuff. But if he put in a quality reman injector, and he's got either like a holder stick in there, or he's got an OEM stick in there, just a known good one from another engine, and he's got this issue going on, and etc. Or if you have this problem on an individual injector and you swap injectors between holes and the issue stays with the original hole, okay, these are all indications, but all that sounds like work to me. And I'm an old guy. I don't like to do work anymore. So what I would tell you is, step one, realize what a contribution code is. A contribution code is this cylinder is not contributing to combustion. At least not as it should. And so what happens is when you have an individual cylinder that is that's not pushing the rotation of the crankshaft enough, and so the crank position sensor is actually checking for the number of milliseconds between rotational angles, and it says, hey, this dude's slacking up a little bit. What it does to the ECM, it compensates for this by defueling the other injectors to operate at the lowest common denominator. And the whole purpose here is to make it so that the engine continues to run smoothly. All right, well, eventually things get so bad, and it's just like, nope. And it throws a contribution code, and your truck starts running like dog meat. So, all right, so this is kind of like the teacher, you're in grade school, and little Jimmy just wasn't picking up what was being laid down here, and so Jimmy's, his teacher slows the whole class down for Jimmy until such point as it just doesn't make any sense anymore. Sorry, Jimmy, you're just not keeping up, and I'm going to send you off to special ed. And that's it. I'm not spending any more time with you right now. Not that you're a bad kid. I just don't have time for this. And so, because I got other responsibilities. And so that's what the ECM is doing. Now, and then boom, contribution code. Now, the conversation has to become now, okay, why isn't this cylinder contributing to combustion? The number one reason why it wouldn't be contributing to combustion really is a fuel injector. But he's already changed the fuel injector. So now it's like, okay, we got to verify base compression and verify that every cylinder is relatively having a similar compression to the others. So if you have, Ford IDS or something like that, and you can do a cylinder contribution test, but with ECM compensation disabled, so the teacher's not defueling injectors, by all means do that. But if you don't, and all you have is you, and your scan tool doesn't support ECM compensation, a cylinder contribution test with ECM compensation disabled, then go ahead and use the remote start engagement wire as a simple test. This is this little wire on the passenger side of the motor. It's by the blower motor there. Just disconnect it. Just hop on YouTube, do a search for remote start engagement wire power stroke 60. You'll find it. Tons of videos out there. And touch the end of it open up this little connector about the size of your pinky, and touch the edge to the positive stud of the passenger side battery. After you do so, then go ahead and say, okay, it'll just listen. Does it spin over smoothly, or does it undulate? If it undulates, ding, 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 we got a compression problem. Oh, so sorry. In which case the answer is to pop out one glow plug at a time. So you pop out one glow plug at a time, and you do a manual compression check and verify what you think you found. So that's option one. Option two is it could be a high pressure oil system problem. So option two, you start the truck, runs like dog meat or whatever. Okay, fine. But what's your IPR duty cycle? It should be 23% at hot idle, like 180 degree oil, 30% at cold idle. But if it's like 50% cold idle, well, ding, ding, ding. If it's 50% at cold idle, 40% at cold idle, whatever, or at hot idle, it's like 35 or something, yeah, you've got a high pressure oil system problem, in which case probably it makes sense to do an air test just to verify and see what's going on there. Now, if you've done that and you're still not getting any joy, and obviously an underscore here, and that's that you've checked the other numbers. Could this be the FICM? Well, FICM main power is just one indication, so you can check and verify that your FICM main power isn't dropping below, say, 46. And if it's 47, 48 when you're doing this, okay, that limits the possibility that it's the FICM. But there could be a logic board signaling issue. But normally that would result in a circuit high code or a circuit low code in conjunction with or instead of this contribution code. Just straight up contribution. No, it's something else that's going on. Maybe a wiring thing too is on the list. So there could be some things I'm missing. So if there are, pop it in the comments. And meanwhile, I hope this video helps somebody and life could be better. But tech support from us is always free. There's never a goal to sell you stuff. There's just a goal to tell you stuff. And if you do need something, we carry everything: injectors, turbos, take care of tuning, intakes, whatever, and even the periodic fuel injection control module. FICMRepair.com. We're all in this together. Thank you, guys.